Hey, sorry, things got crazy and I was gonna call, but I figured I would just send a voice memo and you can call me back later if you want.
And there was one scene in particular that he just did not want to do. And obviously he had read the script, he knew the part, he knew everything, but he just did not want to do it at all. And it was it's, if you, anyone who knows Angels, it's the scene on the beach where like he like is basically getting like jerked off essentially, and then like has to get naked and all this stuff, and he just didn't want to do it. And it's funny because I think with an intimacy coordinator in the room, which at that point intimacy coordination wasn't even a thing, but like with an intimacy coordinator in the room, I wonder how they would have handled that, because my point of view as the person who was like in it but also producing it was like, I don't want you to do anything you're uncomfortable with, but also like, this is Angels in America and people have seen this play, and like this was all written out and like you read it beforehand, and like this is what we've all agreed to do. Like, it's all in the script. I'm not going to make you do anything that isn't in the script, but this is what's in the script. And, like, we can block it as many different ways as you want to find a way that is comfortable for you. But, like, there's no getting around that, like, we have to present something that looks like what the script is talking about, because every scene in that play is famous. And so it's like it's not like we can skip it. But to me, like, having that opinion, I I didn't feel weird about having that opinion, because I was like, I'm just backing up the script. Like, this is what's in the script. I'm not asking you to do anything that's not in the script. And I just feel like it's strange that we've gotten to a point where like what does the script for Enora even look like? Is it just like, and then they have sex, and then they have sex, and then they have sex? Like, why not just write out what it is you would like them to do, and then any actor that reads it can be like, I'm cool with that, or I'm not cool with it. And then you can still have an intimacy coordinator to sort of like figure out like safe ways to block it. But I just think it's weird to like the idea that you would like get onto a set or like in a rehearsal and be like, all right, let's talk about what the sex is going to be. Like, that is very strange to me. Also, another like sort of doubling back on what you were saying, or like me thinking this is how the world should work, even though it never will. I I feel like you and I probably have both been in positions where we signed up for, because again, like Mikey Madison was basically talking about the idea of another person in the room that like, I don't even know this person. Like, I knew I was working with Sean. Like, I like Sean. I trust Sean. Like, it's weird the idea that I would want like a third person that I don't know in there helping. And it made me think about the times where like I've like agreed to do a project or a show or something, and then like found out like, oh, this person is going to be like the acting coach or something, and I'm like, I didn't sign up for that. I don't know you. um and I was like, I feel like one of the things we should have changed in the pandemic times when we were discussing how to like make things better, I remember saying to someone like, I wish there had been a rule that like you where like once everyone's locked into the project, where like you it gets sent out to everyone, like, here's every single person that's working on this, and have it be professionally acceptable at that moment for you to be like, nope, I'm out. Because the number of times, I mean, this is probably happening to both of us. Like, the number of times, like, I actually showed up to a read through for a project I had agreed to be in with absolutely no clue who else was in the cast. Like, didn't know. Obviously, like, it's a little better now because with social media, they love to do, like, cast announcements and stuff. But, like, many, many times I would show up and be like, I don't even know who's, like, playing my mother. And and then if it was someone you didn't like, you were like, oh well, I'm here, damn. So I just feel like that's the kind of transparency that would be helpful, where like, yeah, like here's who's doing the intimacy coordination, or here's who's doing like the fight choreography and blah blah blah. And that way at least you can be like, okay, yeah, no, I like them, I know them, like they can be in the room. Because I understand the impulse to be like, I don't know you. I don't know why you're here. What are you doing? What's your purpose? I'm naked. Like, what's the deal?
Okay, speaking of all this, it's incredible how much all of this overlaps on each other. Um, so a story that I I heard, which is like the inverse intimacy horror story, was so this woman that I've been working with, who is an artistic director and an actress, but like doesn't direct herself, although I'm shocked she hasn't done that yet. She probably does, and then just does that thing where she's the director and like the real director's just sitting there like, okay, whatever. I had been hearing rumblings that like she was nude in this play. I was like, oh my god, I need to mentally prepare myself for this. Just because I'm like, I don't have. I mean, I think seeing anyone naked, like, no matter how like sex positive you are, I feel like it's like something. If you know that person and you don't have any sort of history relationship with them, you have to like brace yourself. But yeah, like I had heard that like she was naked in the show, and so I go see the show and she's not naked, but I can see a moment when she would have been naked. And so afterwards, like we're like talking, like texting, whatever, and I was like, by the way, like I had heard that you were naked in this. Like, did you decide not to do it? Like, were you not comfortable? And she's like, oh no, quite the opposite. Like I wanted to be naked. Like it wasn't even in the script, but like I really thought that I should be naked. And the director just like fought me on it and like said that it like didn't make sense because like in the script she's not naked, and so like and I didn't need to do it, and like, but yeah, I'm really upset because I really felt like I should have been naked. So I was like, oh my god.
Okay, yes, I have really complicated thoughts about intimacy coordinators, but I did just look at Variety's Oscar predictions, and I love that they put like will win, who should be nominated. And I kind of agree with them. We shall see. That Honora will get Best Picture, but Demi Moore will still get Best Actress. She really deserves it, so let's see. And also, yeah, like that's what I do love about theater. That stuff like that is written out for us specifically when it comes to intimacy. Or like if you're reading a Jose Rivera play or like some magical realism and it's up to the actors to interpret, then yep, great. You and the actors and the director or intimacy coordinator can do that. But when I was in the new play that premiered back in LA, I was also assistant directing the show that was in rep with that, and we had a intimacy coordinator come in and work all of our scenes. They were all like women love scenes because it was like a queer play. And it was interesting because I thought she was really great, but it was almost like the director like didn't want her to be there. But like you said, the gals in the play didn't all know who would be playing. And then the understudies have to learn too. So it's like you're dealing with different chemistry, different personalities, etc. So I think in that way, it's good to have an intimacy coordinator because some of it needs to be mapped out so that like actors don't feel like, oh, tonight on stage, I'm just going to shove my like tongue down your throat. That can be a bit much. But the talking part, this intimacy coordinator, she did really well, where she just had the actresses say like where they didn't want to be touched or what they didn't want to do. And then they just went by what was like implied in the text and they mapped that out. And then they would rehearse it and then rehearse it slow and then at speed, kind of like stage combat. And so that I feel really worked. But you're right, like when you're in a play like Angels or something iconic that everybody knows and they're expecting certain things, like you are asked to do those things. And as actors, I mean, obviously in TV and film, sometimes you don't even read the whole script before you show up to set. But I mean, anyways, when you're union, they do tell you when any of that stuff is in there. But, it's on us as actors. Read the effing script. And if something in there you're not comfortable with, tell them before you accept the job to see if they're willing to change it. Or don't accept the job. Then you're going to make everybody else freaking miserable. Like, go do friggin', I don't know, Steel Magnolias or like an adaptation of Little House on the Prairie. Like, if you want, like, I can't. Don't do friggin' Angels in America if you're concerned about sex or drugs or violence. Probably not the play for you. Okay, but low key, now I'm like excited to watch the Oscars tomorrow and see what happens. And also too, this is good research for our podcast idea because when you switched and went into your car, the whole audio quality of the voice memo changed. And see, now the cops are driving by in New Orleans because the parade's over. So it's really interesting to think about how we're going to manipulate sound for something like this. Um, I'm also applying to a job at Loyola right now. I'm like doing it online on the computer, and it's like, I don't even want to have a job. I don't want to work anymore. I just want to be back to where I was in 2019, where I really only had to bartend super part
So he
time, and
actually
then I just made
works
money
in
off
film
my
marketing.
acting.
He is stunningly beautiful to the point where it's
God
incredibly
help us all.
intimidating. And
Also, too, the guy from New
it's been
York and
very
him being right about
interesting.
everything and you liking him
I don't know
is
what you
not
call it,
annoying.
interacting with
Now I'm
him
like, I want to know who this
because
is.
it's taught me a lot about how much validation I need because he doesn't really give any validation. Like, he's not mean and he doesn't play games, but he's just very much like, I just don't think he's a very effusive person. And I think that when I like someone, even as a friend, I am very like, oh my God, you're amazing, you're awesome, you're great. Like, I'm aware that people need that, some people. But I didn't really necessarily think I was the type of person who needed that. But I've been hanging out with him and he just doesn't do that. Like, he's not super, super complimentary, and with anybody. And it's been interesting because I've had to sort of be like, oh, I think I actually do need that. Like, I think I need you. I think I do need like the "Hey handsome" text message in the morning, or like the like "Hope you had a great night tonight, beautiful" like message at night. And I never thought I was that person. Like, I didn't think I needed that until like trying to date or be with someone who like doesn't do that. And now I'm like, oh crap, I need to like ask for that? That's going to be embarrassing.
Oh no, he sounds like me. I think like when people say that stuff to me, maybe I'm flattered for like 3 seconds and then I'm like immediately like, oh my God, don't talk to me like that. Don't say that. I feel so awkward. And that can be somebody that I've literally like been being intimate with for months, years. I don't know. I need to get better at accepting compliments and cute language. But yeah, that's just one of your love languages. If he's anything like me though, be a little delicate with asking because sometimes when people like him and I are asked to accommodate, when we do deliver those messages, they don't come off super genuine, even when we mean it, low key. Oh God. I also just woke up from like the craziest nap. And since I don't have checks and the post office is closed, I need to like take the bus to Walmart and get a money order for my check and then drop it in the rent box. Really exciting Saturday night things.
Yeah, I think so. His explanation. I sort of broached it a little bit, but like not as a like I wish you would do this more, but just sort of like, hey, I've noticed that you're not this particular way, and he's just sort of very matter of fact and is like, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't be talking with you or like making out with you every time I see you. Like, I don't like, isn't that proof enough that like I like you? And man, I don't know. This might be one of those like society is screwed moments because I'm like I don't do that either. I don't make out with people I don't like, but I think once you start to like develop feelings for somebody, you're like, well, there's all sorts of levels of liking a person, and so like, what level would you say we're at? But then you sound like that crazy person who's like, how much do you like me? Like, I don't know. It's the downside of like definitely being the person who likes the other person like a little bit more. I'm trying to like use it as a growth opportunity to be more chilled out, but it's not necessarily working super well.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity when you're with somebody like that. Like, how do we as people figure out how to be intimate with people who don't speak the same love language as us, right? Because I don't believe in the bullshit that, like, oh, we have to speak the same love language for it to work out. Like, no, that's not true. And actually, if anything, I think opposites attract more often than people that are more similar. And I think when you want to be intimate with someone, whether it's like a serious relationship, something casual, or just like whatever, compromise and communication is key. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, Do you have any sort of idea what his love language is? And also, too, this is the thing that's hard with me about voice memos. It's different on the phone. It's like, I'm a call and response girly. You say something at like the 20-second mark, I want to be like, oh my God, yes. Or I'm like, he sounds like me. Like, that is the one thing that I think gets a little bit lost in voice memos. But then in the same vein, it's interesting because we're more in control of our own narrative because you can't really interject during a voice memo.
Hey, sorry I missed you. It's me. It's Friday at 6 p.m. Just call me back. All right, bye.